Alright guys, welcome to Checklist2A video, Introduction to Programming, Setting Images and Strings into Our Outlets. Okay, so this is the programming and or coding for screens 1 through 4. So if you are working on screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, this is going to be the video that's going to contain all the programming concepts that you're going to need to wrap up those screens. All right? Okay, so let me just introduce you guys to the task at hand. We're going to be setting strings and images to our outlets. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run the app so that you guys can kind of see what's going on right now. Okay, so we'll take a look at what's going on with our storyboard and let's hit run. You'll notice the launch page comes up. Oh, and it doesn't like our app right now. So let's go. This is great. Let's figure out what the bug is. Okay. Let's see. Terminating uncaught exception. Ah, okay. I know this is actually a really good troubleshooting thing for us to go through. Okay, so if you don't remember from the previous video, I'm going to actually select this, go into the assistant editor. And I don't know if you remember, I actually deleted the N here because I had capitalized the N and then I had to reconnect the outlet. So the problem here lies in the fact that in the connections inspector, so you have to make sure that the view controller is selected. It has a connection still associated with that image view 1 that I corrected. This is the good connection here, image view 1, but this connection no longer exists. So we're actually going to click on that X there and get rid of that connection. Okay, so we made that in the connections inspector, that correction. We're going to go back into standard editor and let's run the app and cross our fingers and see if it runs again. All right, okay, so you notice label, says label. We've got some text in here, not the desirable text we want. We do have a UI image view here, but we don't have an image, right? Because we haven't assigned an image. Everything we're going to be doing is going to be done in code. So we want this label, the text here, to change to about. And what we're going to do is in computing, we call that, in program, we call that changing the characters. Those are actually called strings. So right now, there's a label element, right? There's a label element here. And the text, right, has been set to the string label. Okay. Now, and we're going to change this to read about, but we're going to do that in code. We're going to set the image to display in here in code, and all the text here we're going to set in code. Okay, and that's pretty much what we're going to be doing in this video. So I'm going to make sure we're in the simulator. We're going to hit Command Q, and we are going to start working on our project here. And it doesn't hurt to just review the anatomy of the .m file, right? So we have all our outlets. Under implementation, you have all your methods, and remember, this is the block. Okay. And a string. What is a string? A string is characters that make up the text in the label and in text views. Okay, so that's what a string is. So we are going to change, if we go back to storyboard, we're going to change this when we run the app to display about Summer Bridge. Okay. And autofill is something that I will actually talk about as we're doing some coding here. Okay, so let's go into the assistant editor mode, and here we go. Here, what we're going to do first is we are going to programmatically set the text to the text from label, right? Because right now that's what it reads, to about Summer Bridge. Okay, that's what we're going to do here in the line of code. So we're going to type self. Okay, self refers to the view controller. And what did we name that label? Okay, let's go up here. That label, right? How do I know? It's UI label and it's called the about label. So we go about label. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but if you see when I start typing about label, this is what we call autocomplete. And if you just hit enter, it'll actually finish typing it for you. It completes what you wanted to type. And then we are interested in the text property because we are changing the text, right? We're changing the string. So autocomplete shows up. I'm just going to hit enter and I'm going to do equals. And the class that manages strings is called NSString. Okay, so we're going to hit NSString. So just to let you guys know, NSString is a class. And the method that is going to format our string is string with format. Okay, this is a method. And all strings in Objective-C, we have an @ sign in front of it, and then it needs to be typed within quotation marks. And in this case, we're going to go about Summer Bridge. Okay. All right. So what did we just do here? We programmatically set the text from label to about Summer Bridge. Let's run our app and see if that actually happened. All right. Well, we see the beginnings of it. The reason why it says ... here is because we actually need to stretch out the label so that it can display all the text. So let's go ahead and quit the simulator. Let's go back into storyboard. Let's kind of elongate that. And if you want to have the text centered, let's go ahead and bring up the utility panel. Let's go into Attributes Inspector and let's center the label, the text. Okay. Now let's go ahead and run again. And here we go. Now it says about Summer Bridge. So we successfully did all of that. All right, next thing we're going to do, guys, is we have to add in all the images that we're going to use in our app. And for this tutorial, we're going to just go ahead and add all the images at once. So you'll find that you have all these images in a folder on your desktop. If you have any questions about where the images are, just feel free to ask us during class, but otherwise I'm just going to carry on and show you guys how to add images in. So we go to File, we go to Add Files to the Summer Bridge app project, and my images are in here. So I have my own images folder, right? So I'm gonna add in all these images. If you want to add them all at once, just click on the first one, and then you can hold down Shift key, and then you can highlight all of them. And we're gonna make sure, this is very key here, guys. You need to make sure that this box is checked. Okay, destination, copy items if needed. We need to copy the images over to our project, and we're gonna add. And you're going to see that the images pop up right here in the project navigator. So now we're good to go. We can actually set an image in here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's comment here. We're gonna programmatically set the image view to display the about image.jpg. Okay, that's what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna go to self, and remember we named that outlet image view 1. And we are interested in the image property because that's what we want to display. We want to display an image in the image view. And the UI image class is responsible for anything to do with images. And the one method we're interested in is image named. And you need to be careful here that you type the image name correctly, and that image name is right here, right? The about image.jpg. You need to make sure that you type that exactly. Okay, and don't forget that semicolon. That's very important. Okay, let's run our app and let's see what happens. Great, we've got our image in there. Perfect. Last thing we want to do is we need to set the text here for our text view, and I have some sample text, and once again all these files have been shared with you, so you can just copy and paste just like how I'm going to be copy and pasting. We are going to, I'm going to highlight, right? So right now we are interested in the about page text, and so I'm going to highlight that, copy it, go back over to my Xcode project, and lastly we're going to programmatically set the text view to display the text, right, that I just copied. So we're going to go self.textView1, that's what we named the outlet, and the property we're going to be interested in is text. So once again, NSString is responsible, that's the class that's responsible for all strings. And we go string with format, and let's go ahead and add that bit in. Don't forget that semicolon. And let's see, it doesn't really like the way that it's sitting there, that square bracket and the quotation, so let's just move it there. And let's see if that goes away. Should go away. Let's, sometimes if these little warning signs or this little red stop sign doesn't go away, you can always go into product and just clean it. And it looks like the clean worked. Okay, so once again, if that pops up, try to clean it real quick, and if it goes away, you're good to go. All right, so what we just did was we remember copied this text, and this text now should show up here when we run the app in the simulator. Let's see what happens. Great. All right. Okay, great. Okay, now we got this issue here that we have this keyboard that shows up, and that's an issue for us because we can't make that keyboard go away unless we do that programmatically. So let's go ahead and disable this feature for the text view. So what we're going to do now is go back into the standard editor. We're going to highlight the text view, and we're going to go into the utilities panel. And what we want to select is we want to we do not want to enable the user interaction. So let's uncheck that and let's go ahead and run the app one more time just to check. And let's just make sure. Now I'm clicking on that text view and you notice that the keyboard does not come up anymore because we've disabled that. Okay, so go ahead and quit the simulator. Okay, now you have the foundations for making the setup, right? So creating your user interface, right? You know how to make the outlets and you know, you kind of understand the naming convention. Like I said, you want to make sure that whatever you do, you always include what it is in the naming. So this is a label, right? We call this the about label. Here we call this the image view. We called it image view 1. We preserve the name of the user interface element. And here is the text view, and you notice that we named it text view 1. Okay, and then what we did was we programmatically set the strings and images to these outlets so that when we run the application, it displays what we want it to. All right, so you have the key now and the knowledge to go ahead and build, finish up building screens 2, 3, and 4 on your own. If you have any questions, just go ahead and stop one of us and we can go ahead and help you. All right, aloha.
Didn't download the capital